Hello everyone, and thank you for attending today. I'd like to introduce Jerry Angelini, our guest presenter for today. Jerry is the Education Director for Host Defense. He received his undergraduate and graduate degrees from Boston University. He has completed multiple training programs in Western herbalism, Ayurveda, and traditional Chinese herbalism. Jerry has had an integrative healthcare practice for over 30 years. Over the last 8 years, Jerry has been the educator for Host Defense mushrooms. He has trained healthcare practitioners, retailers, and consumers around the globe on the benefits of mushrooms, mycelium, fermented rice, and herbs for a balanced immune response and whole body health. Please welcome Jerry Angelini.
Welcome, and thank you for taking time out of your busy day to join me to learn how to stay strong with a balanced immune response. My name is Jerry Angelini, and I'm the head of education for Host Defense. As a gentle reminder, we do not diagnose, treat, prevent, cure any illness or disease. If you have a health concern, we strongly suggest that you work with an integrative healthcare practitioner. All right, we're going to start off with some fun facts. Mushrooms have been used cross-culturally on almost every continent of the planet. They have, in fact, been used before the written word, which makes sense, right? And the first image here was found in the Tassili cave structures in northern Africa, in Algeria. And it is believed that this image is over 6,000 years old. It has been hypothesized that it is a depiction of a shaman covered in mushrooms wearing a bee's mask. This hat is made from the amadou mushroom. And if you're familiar with Paul Stamets, who's the owner of Fungi Perfecti and Host Defense, he frequently wears a similar one. Mushrooms have a long history of being used by humans in many applications, fire starters, punk for early rifles, food, clothing, and also supporting our health and longevity. Reishi over here on the left is has the auspicious reputation of being the mushroom of immortality. Historically, in ancient China and Japan, reishi was reserved for royal families. Another interesting fact is we share about 55% of our DNA with mushrooms, while we only share about 15% of our DNA with plants. And many of us already know how great herbs can be for supporting our health. So imagine the potential support that mushrooms might provide us. Structurally, mushrooms and plants have similar parts. They function radically differently. Plants have roots where they passively absorb their nutrients. Mushrooms have a root-like structure called mycelium. Mushroom mycelium are very different. This is where they're more closely related to animals because the mycelium carry out all of the day-to-day life functions. Mycelium secrete enzymes, much like our digestive tract. Mycelium make immune complexes to defend themselves, similarly to our immune response. And mycelium create quorum sensing compounds that allow them to sense and adapt to their ever-changing environment, much like our sensory organs. So these similarities and differences are what make mushrooms particularly helpful as supplements for us. And we can capture and conserve many of these compounds from mushroom mycelium and use them for our health and longevity. A healthy immune system is a balanced immune system. We want to help people understand that maintaining the immune response in a balanced state is a key factor for health and wellness. There are 4 basic aspects of immune functioning. You've got engagement, recruitment, clearance, and then watchful waiting. The green arrow is where it all starts. The immune system encounters internal or external triggers and engages into action. The orange arrow is where immune cells recruit each other in fairly complex ways. Here, the immune response is really hard at work. Clearance is the set of processes that help clear up the wreckage that may have occurred from the trigger and or our response to it. And then modulation occurs to help manage the immune response and ultimately pacify. it. This is indicated by this blue circle in the middle of the graphic. Modulation monitors the situation and ultimately brings the system back to a state of alert, yet watchful waiting. And although there are stages, the process is not linear. There may be multiple triggers of engagement. In healthy immune responses, modulation occurs throughout every step, and it keeps the immune cells functioning within normal limits by feedback mechanisms. In order for our bodies to thrive, we need to be able to engage and modulate this response rapidly. We want a healthy, strong, flexible, and responsive immune system. We don't want an underactive response, nor do we want an overactive response. So for the average person, and maybe even for the not so average person, right? Modulation of the immune response is a much better goal as compared to simple immune stimulation. There are many types of cells associated with our immune response. You've got dendritic cells, monocytes, macrophages, and natural killer cells. These are grouped in the innate immune response, and they're rapid responders. They address immediate triggers, they engage at contact, and they sustain a generalized immune response. Eosinophils, basophils, mast cells, and neutrophils are called granulocytes. And these cells are typically engaged in response to environmental external triggers. You've got your B cells, plasma and memory cells, T cells like the cytotoxic and helper cells. So your B and your T cells are associated with the acquired immune response. And the acquired immune response is slower than the innate immune response. It can take up to 7 to 14 days to fully engage, especially when responding to a novel trigger. However, it is specific and targeted in its ability to identify and respond to triggers. In some ethnobotanical traditions, health begins in the gut. So many people consider the intestinal tract solely as a digestive organ. The intestinal tract is a rich repository of barrier tissues, of epithelial cells, of immune cells, and vasculature. Lymphatic tissue, and microorganisms, right? It's estimated that approximately 70% of our immune cells reside in the specialized immune tissue in the intestinal tract. And you'll see villi here. These are finger-like projections, and they increase the surface area for absorption of nutrients, but they also create landscape for our microbiome. There are microvilli, and you'll see these small little, almost like bristles of a brush, right? Covering each of these villi epithelial cells. And this is often referred to as the brush border because those microvilli look like bristles of a brush. Within the intestinal lining, there are also immune tissues called Peyer's patches. And these lymphatic vessels and lymph nodes are also present. And this is where the lion's share of the immune cells and the immune tissue of the whole body resides here. The intestinal microbiome, for the most part, resides within the mucosal lining that sits on top of the brush border. Intestinal microflora can create something called a biofilm, and they subside from the nutrient-rich environment within the intestinal tract. There is a tremendous amount of immune activity that is activated and modulated by the gut microbiome. Supporting a probiotic microbiome and supporting a balanced immune response in the intestinal tract are profoundly related, and they're really important strategies for long-term health and wellness. When Host Defense started in the supplement retail arena over 10 years ago, there were not a lot of mushroom companies around. Now there are several companies that specialize in immune production, in mushroom production, and many others that have mushroom products, or they have products that contain mushrooms. Host Defense is still pretty unique in this ever-expanding marketplace. An integral aspect of the Host Defense line is attributed to the lengths we take to ensure our products are safe and effective. We adhere to good manufacturing practices. Host Defense utilizes independent labs with internationally recognized and valid testing methods for identity, purity, composition, and strength. We validate the authenticity of our mushrooms by genetic and biochemical assays. Host Defense tests our products for pesticides, industrial compounds, heavy metals, and microbiological contamination. We want to make sure that the products are safe and effective. Host Defense grows our mushrooms in Washington State here in the USA, located on the Olympic Peninsula. Host Defense has certified organic status as both mushroom growers and manufacturers, and we have been so for over 20 years. We use the mushroom mycelium, the fermented rice, and the adult fruit bodies in our products. We are vertically integrated and beyond carbon neutral. We offset over 10 times the amount of carbon we emit by supporting global initiatives to reduce carbon. We donate towards research on microremediation, mycofiltration, and other subjects associated with mycelium and enhancing planetary health. Host Defense uses all parts of the mushroom. We use the mycelium, the fermented rice, and the adult fruit body. Mycelium, as you see in this, what's called an electron scanning micrograph, are usually about 1 cell wall thick. And so you have to magnify them to really see them. To the naked eye, the mycelium grows throughout its substrate, or the rice, its food, right? And all that white foam-like material is the mycelium itself. Over here, you've got an adult fruit body. It's the lion's mane fruit body. We call it the pom-pom blanc, is one of its names, right? Because it looks like a white pom-pom. And what we know scientifically is that all aspects of the mushroom are rich in health-promoting constituents. Host Defense recognizes this and incorporates all parts of the mushroom in our products. We grow mushroom mycelium on rice, and there's, again, excellent scientific reasoning for this. Rice is an excellent food source for both humans and mushroom mycelium. Rice is naturally gluten-free. It's really well tolerated by most people. The mycelium ferments the rice by secreting enzymes to break down the fiber and the starch. So they pre-digest it, right? They make those nutrients readily available to our bodies. And mycelium digests and converts the rice starches into various highly nutritive compounds. Some of them are called arabinoxylanes that also support immune health. Rice allows for the harvesting of mycelium, fermented rice, the fermentation metabolites, and these are all storehouses of compounds that support prebiotic activity, support immune functioning, support antioxidant activity too. So these precious compounds are lost to us if the mycelia are grown in wood, because you can't eat wood, even if it's fermented by the mycelium, right? You gotta use an edible substance, which is why we use rice. Research on mushroom mycelium is ongoing, and we continue to learn every year more and more. Host Defense is part of that scientific process, and we have a dedicated research team that studies our products and creates manuscripts for publication in peer-reviewed journals. We are on the cutting edge, and not just in the supplement industry, but in mycology too. Now, the following 2 slides are examples of the exemplary work that's conducted by our research team in conjunction with independent labs that create peer-reviewed journal articles that reflect the efficacy of the Host Defense mushrooms. The first article that I'm going to talk about is research on Host Defense turkey tail, and it shows how the Host Defense mushrooms can be the perfect conductor for the symphony of the immune response. And the paper was published in 2019, and you can find it online. Host Defense turkey tail mushroom mycelium has distinctly different biological and immune modulating properties than its fermented rice. The mushroom mycelium triggers the engagement of innate and acquired immune cells, without engaging granulocytes. And just as a reminder, granulocytes are the cells that respond to those environmental triggers, right? And so for long-term health and wellness, we want to keep those down to a minimum. For the most part, right? The fermented rice is very active in terms of immune modulation. The results suggest that overall beneficial effects are associated with both the mycelium and the fermented rice substrate. The mechanisms associated with the fermented rice help keep the immune system in the Goldilocks zone. So not too hot, not too cold, but just right. A second study published in 2020 looked at myCommunity, which is Host Defense's 17 mushroom formula. And the research describes the complex immune response that's elicited by the mycelium in the fermented rice. The research demonstrated both a strong engagement of immune cell activity and a strong immune system resolution. There is an extensive response of cell signaling compounds and growth factors that promote cellular regeneration, clearance, and then eventual resolution. The mycelium and fermented organic brown rice together show us that modulation of the immune response can have a powerful impact on long-term health and vitality. All right, we've just covered a lot of background information, right? So the mushroom benefits chart shows 7 of the species we use in host defense products. And those primary actions are identified in red. But you'll also notice that we have indicators of strong, moderate, and mild support for other systems as well. And you can take some time and review this to get a little bit more familiar with each of the different species to figure out, maybe I want lion's mane, because not only is it going to support my immune health, it's also going to help like my brain, and it's going to help my stress and my mood and support that. You'll see that cordyceps is great for lung functioning and energy, along with immune modulation. So you can find like a mushroom or maybe 2 or 3 mushrooms in a formula that may in fact hit a number of concerns that you have. And this is a great way to save money, right? Because instead of buying 3 or 4 products, you can find one product to help most of your health needs. For mushroom products that best support immune modulation, we got several options for you. The first we're going to talk about is agarikon, and agarikon is the mascot of fungi perfecti and host defense mushrooms. Agarikon has been researched and found to strongly engage the immune system as well as the modulatory functions of our immune response. Agarikon is a powerful support for maintaining a strong and balanced immune response all year long. We reviewed one research article on host defense turkey tail, and our turkey tail has been studied by Bastyr University and the University of Minnesota in a human clinical trial. As part of the trial, women who had undergone intensive conventional treatments experienced decreased white blood cell numbers and natural killer cell activity. It typically takes a person anywhere from 9 to 12 months for natural killer cells and lymphocytes to rebound after these intensive treatments. The study groups receiving 6 or 9 grams of turkey tail per day experienced a rebound of immune activity after just 2 weeks of use. So the study shows the strong immune modulatory support turkey tail can provide. The study used freeze-dried concentrated host defense product, and the serving size was 6 to 9 grams a day. An additional benefit for turkey tail is that it's a really great prebiotic and may remodel the intestinal terrain in a beneficial way. There's also liquid extract for people who have difficulty swallowing capsules, and you can just add that to some water. For upper respiratory and seasonal support, we've got the Breathe formula. And the immune system is designed to protect us from internal and external triggers. Optimally, the substances our immune system recognizes as worthy of a response are in fact worthy of a response. Unfortunately, our immune system can become overzealous in its efforts to do its job, right? So sometimes our immune system mistakenly identifies a neutral environmental substance as response worthy. Helping the immune system maintain its appropriate function can be quite helpful for numerous people. Breathe is a 3-mushroom formula, supports healthy respiratory function and a balanced immune response. Reishi is a systemic immune modulator. It helps balance that immune response whole body wide. Chaga supports the balanced immune response of the cells that line the interior surface of your lungs. It also balances the immune response of the cells that line your intestinal tract and your skin cells. These are all the same type of cell. Cordyceps helps reduce hyperreactive airways, and it increases the volume of air we can inhale. Cordyceps also increases the amount of oxygen we take into our bodies. So altogether, the 3 mushrooms support graceful breathing, and they also support balanced immune response in the upper respiratory tract. The liquid is rapid, and often people experience it within 2 to 5 minutes after a serving. The capsules you can use daily, like at breakfast and maybe at noon, maybe late afternoon, to help maintain that balanced immune response in your upper respiratory tract. Another product that can support upper respiratory wellness is Elderberry Plus. And this is really 3 products in one to support immediate immune functioning. One serving is 2 teaspoons, and it contains 100 milligrams of elderberry extract, 2,000 milligrams of elderberry juice concentrate, and 1 gram of mushrooms, equal parts reishi, turkey tail, and chaga. Both the extract and the juice concentrate have been found to support upper respiratory wellness, yet they contain different compounds, so you get a full spectrum of support. And then if you add the extract and the juice concentrate with the mushrooms, you get this really beautiful full range of support for strong engagement as well as modulation of the immune response, especially in the upper respiratory system. MicoShield is an immune spray that contains 5 mushrooms. You've got agarikon, reishi, chaga, birch polypore, and turkey tail. And then you've got natural flavors that are added. MicoShield is great for people who use public transportation, teachers, medical staff, retail staff. So if you're one of those people that interact with the public for work, or you have to come in contact with a number of people, you might really benefit from MicoShield. And it comes in 5 flavors. You've got cinnamon, peppermint, licorice, citrus, or winter mist, which is birch. These are great. They double as like a breath freshener, and you're going to get immediate engagement and modulation of the immune response. 6 sprays 3-4 times a day to keep your immune system in that Goldilocks zone. A mushroom formula to support your whole body for both men and women is Stamets 7. It's a formula of equal parts of 7 mushrooms: cordyceps, reishi, lion's mane, chaga, maitake, royal sunblasei, and mesema. The 7 mushrooms support balanced immune functioning, and they support just about every system of your body too. The mushrooms collectively support your lung health, liver function, your brain and neurological tissue. They support blood glucose levels already within the normal range. They support your heart and your cardiovascular health, your muscles, basically your whole body. And we know that most of these mushrooms, if not all of them, also support a healthy intestinal microbiome. Furthermore, there is strong preliminary research that suggests that the 7 mushrooms together increase immune functioning stronger than the 7 mushroom species tested separately at the same amounts. In ethnobotanical traditions, formulas are often considered more than the sum of their parts. And this seems to be true with mushroom formulas too. So Stamets 7 is your daily immune support that helps your whole body and your immune response. And it's available in capsules, powders, or even liquids too. MyCommunity is the most complex formula in the host defense line. It's 17 mushrooms to engage a complex synergy of mycelial polysaccharides and immune complexes, fermented rice, ferment metabolites. MyCommunity strongly engages the immune response in a balanced manner that allows our bodies to fight harder when we feel we need it the most. Another chart that might be helpful is our immune support for every season, and it looks at various aspects of immune functioning and which products show mild, moderate, strong, and primary support for the various aspects of immune functioning. So this can be helpful to figure out, well, when do I want to do MyCommunity versus Stamit 7 versus MicoShield, or maybe I should really do Elderberry Plus. Let's see, right? So this is what this particular chart is great to help discern. We also have a wide variety of delivery methods. Now, not everything is available in every delivery method, but there are a lot of overlaps. Capsules are convenient and concentrated. They're great for long-term support. You take them in the morning, you're in at lunchtime, and you're good to go, right? Powders, same material are in the capsules, really palatable, but like say you want to take more than a gram, say you want to take 3 grams of lion's mane a day, then you take a measured teaspoon is 3 grams, and then 1 container will last you 33 days. So it's really cost effective. You can put it in smoothies, you can throw it on your food, you can put it in water, a little tea. It's pretty palatable. Liquids are really complex solutions. They're great for rapid absorption, strongly modulates the immune response, and they're just really fast and easy to use too. We've got the Mycobotanicals tea. This is great for our tea drinkers that want a little bit of, tea time in the afternoon, right? That supports their immune response and has some great flavor and efficacy. And then finally, we've got the elderberry syrup. This is going to be supportive for that upper respiratory health. It gives you elderberry extract, juice concentrate, and mushrooms for a full range of support. And also, it tastes great. I think it tastes like blueberry pie filling. So this is really helpful for people like kids and adults that have discerning tastes, right? I find it goes over pretty well for most people. Host Defense is more than a supplement company making products for people. We're constantly attempting to find the mycelial response to many of the problems we humans have created. And this includes mycoremediation of toxic soils and supporting agriculture with reinvigorating our mycorrhizal species, and even supporting bees in their and their battle against colony collapse disorder, varroa mite infestation, and immune health. So yeah, we're in it for the long haul, for not just humans, but for our sister species in the planet too. And then finally, there are more products than the ones that I covered with you today. Definitely check your local health food store. You can find many of these products on their shelves, or you can take a look at hostdefense.com if you want a little bit more detailed information. And I think you can get our benefits charts on there too. So we're super honored by these industry awards that recognize the host defense products for their quality and their efficacy. And I just want to say thank you so much for coming today, and I hope you have a wonderful afternoon, evening, for sure. Take care.
Thank you, Jerry, so much for that great presentation. And thank you all for attending today.